Welcome to this YouTube video. So for real, thank you so much for checking out this video. Today we're going to be doing a deeper dive into one of the questions from my TikTok. I actually got this question from a friend, Marie, over on Instagram. Be sure to follow me there on Instagram. You can see my handle in the description below. But today we're going to be talking about how we as Christians can better communicate like Jesus. You know, when we navigate social media today, there's so many different opinions and ideas being shared, and oftentimes it can feel like we're more arguing and going back and forth with one another than actually having a conversation and moving the ball forward. And it's so important that we can really communicate that we love all people. Even when we disagree about certain political or different things happening in our nation and the world, we can still love each other. And I think that's what Jesus would do, and that's what we need to strive to do. So check out this video. I just got a great question from my friend Marie over on my Instagram. Hold up just a second. While we're talking about Instagram, I want to ask, are you following me on Instagram yet? Here's my handle, because I'm going to start taking questions from Instagram as well to start answering here on TikTok. It's also a great way to stay in contact with me. She's asking, what are some tips for us as Christians to communicate more like Jesus? So I've got two big tips for us today. Number one is to always start with the foundation of mercy, grace, and forgiveness. When we survey the life of Jesus, he always starts from that foundation. And tip number two is to read back through the Gospels. Matthew and John are my favorites. I would pick a Gospel for you to read through and take notes about how Jesus communicates and talks to the people in those Gospels. You'll learn so much, and you'll be more and more like Jesus in the way that you talk in no time. See ya. So just to recap my tips from that video, tip number one was to start from a foundation of mercy, grace, and forgiveness. And tip number two was to pick a gospel, one of your favorites. My favorites are Matthew and John. Read back through it and take down physical notes, either on your phone or in a journal, and really pay attention to how Jesus responded to the different people that he had conversations with and interactions with. I think that we will learn so much from Jesus's example. In this video today, I want to talk about a couple more things and go a little bit deeper into the reasons why I picked those two tips. Tip number one was to start with the great foundation of mercy, grace, and forgiveness. And what I'm referring to here is really the great commandment. When Jesus was asked what the most important thing was for a Christian, for somebody that believes in God, he said that it was to love God with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength. And then he goes, and also it's to love our neighbor. That's from Matthew 22. You should go check that out. That's a great commandment. I think whenever we start from that foundation, to love God with all that we are, and then to love our neighbor as ourselves, then we are starting from a great place, because that means that when we interact with people online, that we're going to love them and we're going to be kind to them and communicate to them like Jesus, because that's just an overflow of our hearts as believers in Jesus. And the second tip I want to talk about today is just to be humble, to always have an attitude of humility about you. And I'm getting this from Philippians chapter 2 verse 3, where the Bible says, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. This isn't to think little of yourself, but it's to think of yourself less. Does that make sense? So we want to think about the people that we're having conversations with more than we're thinking about our own desires, our own pride. Because we may feel very strongly about a certain thing on social media, and we have the freedom to post about it. We have the freedom to have conversation about it. But when someone disagrees with us, the proper response to them is not anger, it's not to debate, it's not to argue, it's to start with love and then allow the conversation to go from there, because I bet that both of you could learn from one another. I think if we just took the time to sit down for a cup of coffee, a cup of tea with somebody that believes very differently than we do about race, religion, politics, a different worldview, I think that we would find out that we enjoy one another way more than we think we do. We're so divided today, and if we would just sit down and love one another, we would see so many walls fall down just through Jesus and through loving each other. So I hope this has really helped you. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Remember to like this video, it really, really helps, and then to also subscribe to the channel. I'll see you for the next video.